What is something you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy? I lost my son in 2018. I didn't even know it was possible to feel that much emotional pain. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Having a catheter up your wang for any amount of time. Had to have one for 3 months after at least it was convenient. But I hated everything else about it, lol. Mine literally broke my dick. Like when guys traumatize themselves while they have an erection. I had dark blood coming out from the surgery. And bright red blood from where the catheter damaged my and over. Every time I got up out of bed or anything. Even rolling over. Now I'm left with loads of scar tissue over the first 3 to 4 of my urethra. And Peyronie's disease caused by the damage. I don't know why it was so traumatic for my wiener in particular. But goddamn. A painless death. Not having someone to love. Having a 9-day long period. 3 months for me. It was horrid. As a man. This sounds like the worst horror movie. I cannot imagine bleeding out of my dick for 3 months. Being stung by a Jimpy plant. It was absolute hell. What the hell is that? This. The article says. The fruit is edible to humans if the stinging hairs that cover it are removed. I'll pass on that. Even if starving. Any type of spinal damage. The pain is complete torture with no relief until surgery. And that is no guarantee that it will stop. Having to spend any amount of time locked in a non-vegan restaurant freezer with that vegan teacher. COVID. That speep sucked. Cancer. The loss of a child. Having to put down a pet. A life-changing diagnosis with no chance for survival. When I was younger, my answers would have been different. Having experienced some of these things now. Myself, I never had kids. I was there when my niece and nephews came home to a house without their mother in it for the first time. I can't imagine possessing a soul so congealed and twisted that I'd wish them on anyone else. We're all a reflection of our experiences. Even our enemies. And not everyone is effective at displaying admirable traits. Even worse. Some aren't even self-aware enough to recognize it in themselves. The loneliness of a life like that is punishment enough. Depression. Good fortune. To come to Brazil. Crushing the testicles only works for male enemies. Even though crushing the ovaries seem like it could be a lot of fun as well anyways. This used to be done for very serious crimes like attempted regicide, killing the king. The pain was so excruciating that the victims were reported to vomit instantly. Apparently, they couldn't even scream because of the overwhelming pain. So yet I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Except for that one kid who stole my backpack when I was 7. Yeah, he can burn in hell. Is it okay I laughed at this? It's okay I did too. The death of a child. Unemployment. Stepping on a mile of Legos. Anxiety disorder with a side of panic attacks. Happiness. A lottery win. Boiled alive or burnt alive. That'd be the worst way to go. Being skinned would be worse. Being skinned alive and them rolling you in poison for and salt. Well, now that you mention it. Alzheimer's. It won't be any fun ruining his life anymore. Infinite death loop. David Productions made it look not pretty. A man of culture, I see. A girlfriend. Come on, they're not all bad. You must be a girlfriend. Nah. I've just had a few very good ones before. COVID, ear infection or bed bugs. My foster girls we thought we were going to adopt went back to their meth head mom. So they were gone. My dog died. Then my wife left me. I wouldn't wish anyone if those things on my enemy. Life has sucked the past 2 years. Being a Java developer. Sex with me. As an asexual. It would be so much worse for me than for them. Bartholin's cyst. Good life. Is an enemy. Screw him. Stuck in your degree or finals. Not loving the job you do. Not having someone to love. Double ear infection and strep throat. Dealt with that one winter and it was one of the most miserable times of my life. When your urethra runs out of moisture and there's a grating, burning sensation. My hemorrhoids. Gout. Being married to someone with untreated bipolar disorder. Listening to Justin Bieber. Nothing. Revenge consumes me. Success. A happy, healthy life full of achieving their goals and other forms of prosperity. A good life. My friendship. Eternal torment. Imagine how cold and sociopathic you need to be to believe someone deserves to exist in pain forever. Have some goddamn empathy. Yes. People do horrific speak to each other and need to pay their dues. Whatever those might be. But to condemn someone to an eternity of agony is just quite possibly the worst thing you could ever do to anything or anyone. This always crosses my mind when I play the Elder Scrolls Online. Because so many quests in that game end with "and now the casual NPC villager you've been helping will rot in a magical prison until the end of time." Happiness. My ex. A misplaced apostrophe. Calf spasm. Feels like your damn foot went too far and broke. With no way to return it to normal. Except waiting it out. The leftover nerve pain I have from shingles. On bad days. Even my clothes touching my skin is severely painful. But I can't be unclothed either. Because my damaged nerves register cold as pain. So if I get cold, that's painful too. I have very few people in my life I genuinely despise. And I wouldn't wish it on any of them. For clarity, I had shingles when I was 14. I'm 30 now. Opiate addiction. A disability. Nobody deserves that. I work in a hospital and encountered a patient that was paralyzed after a stroke. He could only communicate through eye movements. Couldn't even turn his head. Or cough to clear his throat. He's still fully conscious and aware of his surroundings. But a prisoner in his own body. Nobody deserves that. Dementia or Alzheimer's. They literally are erased as the people they were. I've seen a hateful, abusive mother of two crying and asking where mom was. She was basically an 8-year-old again, and all the years afterwards, her life was taken from her. Dick sliced from the hole. What the beep, dude? Hemorrhoids in the mouth. Anything pleasant. If they are my enemy, they deserve to be skinned and rolled in salt. Alzheimer's disease. I watched one of the strongest people I knew, my grandmother, wither away and die in the fetal position. Such a terrible disease. My siblings. Probably having a murderer in your family. My cousin killed my aunt, her mother, after fighting. And it's something that sorta traumatized everyone for a bit. If you don't believe me, just look up Akron, Ohio Sidney Powell. Worst part is, my sister is named Sidney Powell. At least I don't live in Akron or I'd have a field day LMAO. Sorry. Went off track. But you get the gist. A good life. A girlfriend. A long penis. Painless death. A family. Internet that works. Cluster headaches. It has been described as having a hot knife driven through your eye with pain so bad that you can do nothing but moan and scream. There is no known cure and many who suffer from it commit suicide. Living. I'm about to reverse unicard this bitch. Hitting her vagina in the corner of a table. OCD. Death. I don't wish death on anybody. Unless it's as a mercy because they are suffering and are belong help and they wish it for themselves. For my enemies. Death is too easy. Why should they get to die believing they were right the whole time? Why should they get to become a martyr for their cause? No. For the people I despise the most. I wish for them to live to regret their actions. I wish for them to come crawling back to me. And to genuinely beg me for their forgiveness. I will grant it. Then I will forget about them. But they won't forget. They live a long life. Where every time they look in the mirror they are filled with shame and disgust over the person they once were. Toothache. Having an ingrown toenail. Kidney stone. My mother's casserole. 2020. Scleritis. I had it and had to have my eye removed 3 weeks ago because of the pain. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It's awful and debilitating. Hiccups for life. Their student loan debt being forgiven. Nothing. I'm a spiteful phoebe. Kidney stones. Bipolar disorder. $1 million. Horrible health. I wouldn't wish a failing body on anyone. I wouldn't wish peace on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish for them to have a better life than I do. Because they already do. And whoever is my enemy, they don't deserve it. Let him sit in bed one day at 80 years old, stare at a wall, and realize that he screwed up, that he was wrong, that he did not do what he wanted.